Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to talk about Thor by Jason Aaron, the complete collection, Volume 2. Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're talking about Thor, the complete collection by Jason Aaron. This is Volume 2. So we get the wrap-up of the God of Thunder series in here, issues 19 through 25, and then the first 8 issues, or that first run of Thor, that was from 2014, plus the 4-issue miniseries Thors, plural, from the Secret Wars event. So all that is in here. It's a massively thick trade, and it's a really, really fun read. I highly recommend it. So since we're on the weekend of Thor, Love and Thunder, and we've talked about gore a couple episodes ago, and I figured we might as well rush this review and get to talking about Jane Foster, whom, it's not a spoiler anymore who this Thor is. I've seen other comic channels try and talk about Jason Aaron omnibuses and try and keep it a secret, and it's like, it's in the freaking marketing for the biggest movie of the next 3 months at least. So, it's no longer a spoiler in my mind. So, let's talk about it. This has the entire thing of not the entire thing, it has a lot of the Jane Foster stuff in here, a majority of it, in fact. What is weird about this is, and this is why I read Original Sin, reviewed those, and put those up on the channel, is because the unworthiness of Thor happens in that book, which happens during issue number 25 of this Thor God of Thunder run. I guess there's not really a delineation, because the first couple of issues you got Saad Ribic back on art. You got the introduction of Dario Agger, CEO of Roxxon, as a villain, and he turns into a massive Minotaur, and that's really cool. You got the new girlfriend coming in for Thor, Rosalind Solomon, and she's here. You got old Thor battling Galactus in the past with his new granddaughters, all that good stuff. So you're kind of doing the same thing that God of Thunder was doing in the first volume, where swapping between storylines of young Thor, current Thor, and old Thor, just a little bit less young Thor here. And really they're just painting a picture about, in this Roxxon arc, how much Thor actually does love Midgard. And he's really an environmentalist. He wants to keep the planet alive and keep it safe. And the fact that old Thor is doing this here at the end of time and rebuilding Midgard proves how much Thor loves his planet loves Midgard. So we get a little bit of wrap up here, and then we jump to God of Thunder number 25, and there's a couple of stories in here that are laying seeds for future things, including War of the Realms, which is kind of the big culmination to this entire run. And then we just have the last page where we see Thor struggling to lift Mjolnir on the blue area of the moon. This is in reference to the event of Original Sin, although there's nothing in here. There's the big misfire of this book is that there's nothing in here that says, go read Original Sin to see what the hell Thor is talking about, or what happened to Thor, or how he became unworthy. There's no blurb in between God of Thunder number 25's ending and Thor number 1. I guess because there's a little bit in Thor number 1 that does reference what Thor went through. There's like a kind of a pseudo flashback where he talks about Nick Fury whispered something, so it's kind of in the story here, but that moment is not captured in the book at all, and I think it's a big misfire for this collection, at least, to not reference that or give me a little blurb or a paragraph summary of that storyline, or even to point me to go read Original Sin, as craptacular as it is, just for that one moment. But the main fun of this book, as fun as the Roxxon, Dario Agger stuff is with Saad Ribic in the first arc, the real fun begins when you get Russell Dodman here on art, and he is a phenomenal artist. It's a complete style changeover from God of Thunder. So in this volume, it is a big switch to go from Saad Ribic, who's very heavy metal, very gothic kind of thing, to this fun and funky art, which you can see here on the cover. Very colorful. I love the colors here. They are fantastic, and you have this really quite lively, quite animated, although detailed style come into the book here. And you got girl Thor, we'll call her here, Mighty Thor as she is later called, kissing the Odin son, as he's now called, and as the Odin son tries to unravel who this person is, and we're going on new Thor's journey as she discovers her powers and what she can and can't do with Mjolnir. It's kind of weird that Mjolnir, it does a lot more stuff with female Thor here than it did in the last volume. Usually it travels in a straight line when Odinson throws it, and now when the new Thor throws it, it's like ding, 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 ding. It's ricocheting all over the place and just doing all these crazy moves. And it just it makes the female Thor new, that she has new powers and that Mjolnir's doing new things. And this added newness adds a sense of excitement to the book, as opposed to all right, it's another person holding the hammer. It's no, this is something different. It's something new, something you haven't seen before. So the final arc of this thing is kind of Odin getting mad that someone else is holding his hammer, which is supposed to go to his son. So he enlists the help of his brother Kull, who we met in the Fear Itself event. They're now back, and it's the Destroyer armor going up against the new Thor, going up against Odinson, going up against a bunch of female heroes that were magically collected. It's not explained at all. And then kind of, Odin backing down as Freya, the All-Mother, tells him to stop. The other thing in here that's not quite shown or explained is what is going on with Asgard. The first arc has the destruction of Broxton, Oklahoma, which was introduced in J. Michael Straczynski's run. So if you want to know that, go read that. And then go all the way to Siege, pick up Kieran Gillen's stuff, and then Matt Fraction's run, I believe, if I recall this correctly, takes Asgard out of Broxton, and it becomes Asgardia and starts floating up around. It's no longer Asgard, and that introduces the concept of Odin being gone because he disappears at the end of Fear Itself. And then you have the three All-Mothers, Freya, Frigga, and Gaia. Maybe there's a third one. Freya and Frigga, I think, are maybe the same. But anyway, you have the three All-Mothers that are now ruling Asgard. And that's kind of brushed over here. It's just, hey, one of these is Thor's mother, and we're going to recognize her, and you're going to recognize her by her armor all the time. And this is Thor's mother, and she is married to Odin, and that's where we're going to go going forward. So if you're wondering why Asgardia is not in Asgard and all that stuff comes from previous runs of Thor, although I don't think you need to know all that stuff going in to really recognize, or really understand what's going on in the story. I think they do a pretty good enough job to say, we had a relationship with Broxton, Oklahoma. That's now over. We're sorry. Goodbye. And Thor is staying behind. Odinson's staying behind at some points to help them rebuild. That kind of thing. The last bit of thing in here is this Secret Wars tie-in, which, there's really not much to say about it other than it takes place in that world. The main thing it really does is set up a storyline in a future volume of this complete collection where the ultimate Thor's hammer comes to Midgard and is here, and it's got the same inscription. So now there's another hammer up for grabs rather than Mjolnir. There's two of them. So that's kind of what that miniseries is collected here for, because that is a big thing, a big moment that will be touched on in future volumes of this complete collection. But I really do enjoy this Thor run. Russell Dodderman's fantastic. Jason Aaron's still firing on all cylinders. And if you enjoyed the first volume, pick this one up. If you enjoy this one, you're going to enjoy every single volume after that. The next three. There are 5 after all. But, man, I can't say enough great stuff about how much fun this female version of Thor is. It was pretty wild to see in real time. Not just rereading it, but thinking back, going from this heavy metal God of Thunder title to this fun, light, bright version of Thor, and it was from the same writer. Just the changeover in artist and storytelling style and all the things that Jason Aaron pumped into the Thor series here with the Jane Foster reveal is man, it just shows what a good writer he is, that he's able to switch modes kind of from one series to another and injecting a new character and a new artist and just write for that artist as opposed to the stuff he was doing with Yasad Ribic. So can't say enough great things about it. Go check it out. They're still available. So if you want to read the origin of the Jane Foster stuff that you saw in the movie this weekend, go check these out. I think you can find them pretty easily. There's also a new trade called the Saga of Jane Foster, and that is out as well. So there's 2 separate ones you can pick up for Gore the God Butcher that just has those 11 issues. And then there's one about Jane, and I think that has this first 8 at least, and maybe a couple other issues after that to make you kind of, it's like a $40 trade. It's about this thick. And that has, I think, most of the Jane Foster stuff. Because as we move on through these complete collections, we will kind of alternate between Jane Foster and Odinson in certain issues or sections of issues, that kind of thing. So there is one that is all just Jane Foster if that's all you want to read. But my recommendation would be to seek out these complete collections because you're getting the whole story that way rather than just little snippets. So there you have it. My wholehearted recommendation for Jason Aaron's Complete Collection, Volume 2. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and we will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.